I was in food service and I was just looking to kind of get into something else to where I could build a skill set.
Hmm.
Um, I had no real experience with tools, anything. And basically they gave me a chance and like I just like working with my hands. And then
Yeah.
as I, got more responsibility, was able to kind of lead on my own, that's when I kind of realized how creative, things can be. And, that's kind of what people need because they say, hey, I want a piece of glass here. They don't necessarily know how it would work. So
Right.
now
Welcome to the Unstuck Career Podcast with your host, Ken Williams. Each week, we move along your path to possibility so you can finally have the life you want. Let's learn how to deal with people you never wanted to be friends with together so you can become unstuck and unstoppable in your career and life. Welcome back to another episode of the Unstuck Career Podcast. This week, I have, once again, somebody who I found on TikTok, which cracks me up. I have Brandon from the great state of Illinois. Welcome, Brandon.
hello, thanks for having me.
And um, I I wanted to connect with you because we had a little bit back and forth on TikTok, and I loved your story. I loved the fact that you have done something that is not that easy to do, not that hard, really, but not that easy.
Mhm.
So, um, let's start out. What is your background? What is it that you used to do? You still kind of do it, but
Yeah.
what's your background?
So essentially, I was able to find a job at the age of 19 in a glass shop. And basically, I just had a natural kind of take to it. I loved it, and I stuck with it with the same company. So that was cutting glass, residential installs, commercial installs. I mean, basically anything glass related, I was getting my hands on. And I don't find myself wanting to do anything else.
Hmm.
Um, and basically, that just kind of I just kind of built up from there skill wise and just kept going and learning more and more and became a very trusted, technician, star employee, and became general manager of a few shops. And I just kind of wanted to continue to grow from there. Um, it was with the same company, but then things take a turn and you kind of realize you need a little bit more in life. So
Yeah. So, so the glasswork, how long were you with the company that you were with?
I was with them for a little over 10 years.
Okay. So that gave you a great opportunity for an education
Yes.
in glassworks. When you talk about glassworks, I imagine Windows. So
Mhm.
Windows, what else? Is it primarily Windows that you're dealing with?
So windows, mirrors, tabletops, decorative glass, pattern glass, but basically it is a lot of in-home service.
Uh-huh.
Say a baseball goes through a window, I go repair that.
Okay.
Um, someone has a insulated unit that fogs up in their house. Um, I go take measurements, replace it with a new insulated unit. So, well, and then we also are getting into full window replacements.
Mm.
So basically, the goal is to be the one-stop residential shop
Okay.
and offer any solution. I mean, so just the other day, I was at a customer's house. They had a railing installed on an overhang in the upstairs of their home. Um, but the ceiling was sloped, and so the railing had a slope. They couldn't continue the cords over, so they asked, if I had any ideas. So I told them what I could do. I made a template on site, and I cut quarter-inch laminate safety glass on site and installed it right in the railing.
Oh,
So
cool.
it's, I mean, any kind of glass solution is my specialty. I mean, I just creative.
Uh-huh.
Whatever someone needs, I'll make it happen. So,
So when you started the job, did you imagine that it was going to be as creative as it's become, or was it what got you thinking in the first place when you applied for the job that maybe I'll try this glass thing?
so I was in food service and I was just looking to kind of get into something else to where I could build a skill set.
Hmm.
Um, I had no real experience with tools, anything. And basically they gave me a chance and like I just like working with my hands. And then
Yeah.
as I, got more responsibility, was able to kind of lead on my own, that's when I kind of realized how creative, things can be. And, that's kind of what people need because they say, hey, I want a piece of glass here. They don't necessarily know how it would work. So
Right.
now I'm able to kind of take that time and explain it, make sure we're all on the same page. And it works out.
Yeah. So your career with the company, you were there about 10 years,
Mhm.
getting into management, leading um, different operations. It sounds like different sites. Um, what shifted or what happened that you started thinking, I want to do this on my own?
Had a very wide customer base that would specifically request me.
Hmm.
There were other technicians there, and we would have our tickets on clipboards, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We'd go through the tickets in the morning, and at least, I mean, 5 to 8 of them would say Brandon only, Brandon
Hmm.
only.
Wow.
And these people were specifically requesting me because I don't quit. I want them to know that they have a good technician. I'm tidy, um, and efficient. I can get the job done in minimal time and have them down the road. So a lot of it's like heavy equipment, end loaders, dump trucks. They got to have their stuff.
Right.
So I'm able to get there, get it done, send them on their way. I mean, that's what they need.
Yeah.
Uh, and then with the latest move, I got moved to a different shop, was given the manager position there. A lot of promises were made. I waited months, not one word, anything. And, I knew I could reach out, but I was just waiting to see if they would follow through, and it didn't happen. So, um, basically, that's what we touched on too. I
Yeah.
just middle of the workday, stopped at home on my lunch, emptied my own equipment out, took the van home, and um, before I did that, I threw my e-bike in the van and I rode my e-bike home. So, so it
So it
was
was kind of a, how long had you been thinking about making that your last day? Was it a spur of the moment decision? Was it something you'd been thinking about? I'm going to try this on my own.
I I would say probably about 2 years before this moment, I
Okay.
wanted to be on my own. Um, but I was scared. I mean, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I felt comfortable with my team.
Hmm.
I, was kind of masking my unhappiness with the hope that we would all come together and work stronger.
Hmm.
And it just hit a boil over point to where I knew it wasn't going to happen. And I got a hold of my partner and
Hmm.
I just asked her, I said, what do you think of this? Do you care if I do this? I said, I know it's scary, but I'm going to lose my mind. I can't do this anymore. I'm so
Right.
unhappy. So she said, yeah, let's try.
Uh-huh.
So that's when I, I hung up and immediately just started emptying everything out. So and then so my launch date was uh, April 2nd for Radiant Glass.
Uh-huh.
Um, and to date now, I've completed 65 invoices.
And that was
So
April this year. That was your
yes,
launch date. Okay.
yep, this year. Now this is, installation jobs. There've been a few review incentives. I meet with people, I kind of give them a discount,
Uh-huh.
help them out that way. But now I'm moving into, I mean, large scale realtors are calling me.
Wow.
Um, Big name stores are calling me, like Hobby Lobby, Arby's. Um, my online presence, I mean, I had to learn a lot about that. And I mean, in this area, I'm dominating the online presence. I'm in the local big three.
Uh-huh.
Um, I've got 27 five-star reviews.
Wow.
I have over almost 30 pictures of work I've done.
Uh-huh.
I just continually interact with the Google page, the Facebook page. Um, I make sure I reply to my reviews.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I just, and customer service is the main thing. I mean, if you can really communicate with them, make them feel, this guy knows what he's talking about. He's here for me.
Right.
That's number one. Your customer service is everything.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I excel. So I kind of tend to over explain
Okay.
and I over communicate. So, but that being said, I don't think there is really enough communication. You just do it. So,
Right. Well, and having a supportive partner is so important.
mhm. Yeah,
And
no, and there's been moments where we're both terrified. And she's like, "Is this really gonna work?" And I'm like, "Trust me,
right,
please." I'm like,
right.
"Things are coming." So,
Yeah.
but no, you know, it's pretty cool. I will say the last it, and again, I'm kind of jumping around here, but basically, you got to get used to seeing a lot bigger numbers than you're used to.
Mm,
Um, I mean, I was used to my paycheck. Pre-tax, I would make $1,000 a week.
hmm
But now, these tickets coming in, I mean, I'm seeing it is a lot to handle, a lot to get used to.
Yeah.
But I think maybe I had a little bit more of an advantage because I was sort of had a reputation in the area.
hmm
But um, I mean, the business is growing. I'm looking for a shop,
hmm
uh, more vehicles. I'm getting close for business plans. I'm looking at employees, how much it costs to give them benefits,
Right.
um, everything like that. I have a family member who I'm working with who is going to be running things with me because I'm to a point now I can't handle the calls and install at the same time.
hmm
I was on my extension ladder. I'm 12 feet in the air and my phone is just ringing. So there I am on the ladder. I've got one
Right.
phone in this hand, my other phone, I'm taking notes. And so it's unreal
Yeah.
for sure. But I don't really know how to explain it beyond that. I mean, I'm very happy I did what I did.
Yeah.
So
So think about the that day that you made the decision, you turned the van in. Um, what if you knew then what you know now? Would you have stayed longer? Would you have quit sooner, or do you think you nailed it and did it at the right time?
a lot of me wishes I did it sooner,
Okay.
but I think that with the time I chose to do it, I do think I made a good call.
hmm
So um,
One of the things I want you to say it again. You said it before we started recording. You were talking about the the fact that um, nobody's looking out for you the way that you got to look out for yourself.
yeah.
And
Hmm.
so, just talk about your how you kind of uh, learned that lesson that you got to do what's right
Yeah.
for
Yeah. So that kind of started when I was at my old employer.
you.
There was a lot of times to where I mean, I had to be on my own.
Right.
A lot of times it was kind of unfair, and so that's when I started to announce it. Hey, this isn't right. This isn't right. I want this to change. I started advocating for myself. And I think I started doing that so much, it started to kind of made me realize like how unfair things were and how unhappy I was. And so basically that's when I started because, I had to research about a vehicle. I had to research about business insurance, licensing, everything like that. And again, I mean, there's nobody who can do that besides you.
Right.
So, I found a cheaper work vehicle. I bought it. I'm no mechanic. I saw that it needed repairs. It needs to be reliable for work. So I got on YouTube, taught myself that, got all the repairs done, um, and then got quotes for insurance, figured out the licensing I needed. And, I had basically this is like a card in my back pocket I could pull out, but I was still too scared to do it.
hmm
And so then I think it was just a mixture of wanting more, being upset, and knowing that nothing was going to change that made me really get on the advocating for myself path. And to this day, I mean, there's a lot of times to where you have confrontation with, a customer who, got a quote from somewhere else. You have a lot of hard questions. You have just all kinds of different things that you solely have to be responsible for.
hmm
Um, and I mean, now I'm just comfortable with it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But
What do you think shifted that you decided this is it? It's I'm tired of waiting for the promised promotion or bump in pay
yeah,
or responsibility or whatever.
that would be my mental health.
Okay.
I realized I was going downhill. You
Yeah.
know, I wanted to be happy, but I would kind of get home. I was severely burned out. I would just talk to my partner about how unfair things were, how I needed to change, and then I was just kind of grumpy.
Hmm.
And you just start to realize it, and I just had to make that change. So, and now, I mean, it's a little personal, but I was seeing a psychiatrist.
Uh-huh.
Um, I was on SSRIs to help with the anxiety, depression, things like that. Um, I'm no longer on any medication.
Great.
So I feel great. I'm happy. I wake up in the morning, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Um, I have a 5-year-old.
Uh-huh.
He's doing great. We just had our second on the 15th of August. So
Congratulations.
there's a lot of factors there, but
Yeah.
I just know that if I continue to believe in myself, that it's going to work.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and the great thing that you're saying, I love this because you've got to take care of you. And I'm
mhm,
not talking to you. I'm talking to all of
yeah,
us. Nobody's going to care as much about our situation, our skill set, our desires, our goals, our dreams, our um, any of that as much as we do. And
mhm,
so I like that you talked about advocating for yourself, but also nothing changes until you decide to do something different. And so you said it would had been a couple of years that things were kind of going downhill.
mhm.
Um, at what point and I kind of asked this question, I'm going to ask it a little bit differently and just see if it brings up anything new. But the what do you think had to shift for you to take the fear, because the fear is real. It's not, and that's not going to disappear. And sometimes
Mhm.
it still doesn't disappear, even in the
Oh yeah.
on your own program. But what had to shift that the fear became less of a factor than this desire to achieve something more?
So basically, I'm very strong communication and
Hmm.
honesty. And there was a major lack of that with my team
Hmm.
where I was currently working. Um, I would sit down in the office frequently and just say, "Hey, it's me. Talk to me, please.
Hmm.
If there's anything that I can do different, if I seem hard to talk to or anything, I'm like, just tell me, please." I said,
Right.
I love you guys. Um, wouldn't change. And so I just kept just feeling worse and worse at work.
Mm.
And that was basically, it was like, okay, I can't do it here anymore. So, and I don't want to work for anybody else.
Right.
So this is what I'm going to do and give it my all.
Yeah. Did you
So,
have a non-compete or anything like that
nope,
prevented? Okay.
nope.
And
So,
I know that sometimes exists, but I've also heard that a lot of the non-competes are getting really scrutinized by the courts. And
mhm,
so for anybody who's got a non-compete and thinks that that's going to limit their opportunities, it might, but it might not.
mhm, exactly. But no, I mean, I kind of I had a client I was working with. We hit it off really well, and
Mhm.
he kind of pointed these things out. He said, I'm a business owner myself, and I could just tell by where we were, the success was great for him.
Yeah.
Um, he just kind of shared with me. He said, if you continue operating the way you are now, you're going to be a multimillionaire by the time you're 40.
Oh, wow.
And he said, you're communicating, you're showing up, and you're doing the job. He said, I've had so many contractors come out, most don't even show up.
Right.
And he said, that's the key right there. You set a date, you show up, and you do it.
Yeah.
That's what he said. And yeah, I've just been I've been sticking with that. I said I really like that because I mean
Yeah.
I relate to it. That's what it is. I mean, you tell these people you're going to be there, you show up, you be there for them.
Yeah.
I just try to make it because the thing with the glass business is most of the time you show up to someone's house, it's an unfortunate situation.
Hmm.
They're usually not happy to call you. So
Right.
if I can show up, be personable. And my thing is, I take their windows apart right in front of them. I get an
Okay.
exact size. I make sure they know how the process works, the
Hmm.
warranty, everything. And then I give them their estimate. And more often than not, I think there's maybe two estimates I gave that I didn't get the job.
Mm.
So it's just communication and just being a good dude, just being a good
Yeah.
person. So
And it's not that hard, but
right.
I've hired contractors before that have ghosted me, and that's
Hmm.
so I understand that. It's
Yes. Yes. And so, but the main thing was in this line of work was being insured and properly licensed. Because
Mhm.
I just, some people will look into that, so on and so forth. And I basically have it on my phone, documents at the ready. If they need a copy, I just send it right over.
Yeah.
So,
So what kind of licensing is required for
uh,
the glass
so,
work?
so essentially, there's certain guidelines you have to follow. But basically, it's just your Illinois business license, and same with Iowa.
Okay.
Um, there are a few things I'm working on right now, like the general contractor's license.
Okay.
That's going to allow me to get involved in new construction, bid on government jobs.
Hmm.
But as for just glass replacement, there's no general contractor's license required. But you do have to have proper insurance coverage,
Okay.
things like that. So, especially working with like apartments, realtors, everything like that, they like to know that you're official. So,
Yeah. So when you
but
were getting ready to leave and you're hitting that tipping point, did you have your awareness of what you didn't know? Did that hold you back at all?
no, no. I, I I was not very familiar with the figuring out the licensing steps, um, and insurance. It was all kind of, unknown. So but I just did my research.
Yeah.
ChatGPT is very
Mhm.
helpful.
Yeah.
Um, things like that. So just slowly did my research and just made sure I had um, the most important information written down on what to look for, and
Hmm.
I was just able to navigate it that way and got everything set up. And I just paid my first payment to the state of Illinois for my quarterly sales tax
Nice.
and things like that. So it's pretty cool.
So how did you find the things that you needed to know or do um, before you got in trouble by not having insurance or whatever?
Um, so basically, I just kind of so I don't really make a whole lot of mistakes, but my thing with the insurance was protection,
Hmm.
just in case anything were to happen.
Right.
Um, but um, I just wanted to kind of launch as a legitimate business. I didn't want to go into the private contractor sector or anything like that. I just wanted to get myself out there.
Right.
And that's kind of where I got involved with ChatGPT quite a bit. And I was just thoroughly asking questions. What is the proper way for this? What is the proper
Okay.
way to be insured for this type of business? And things like that.
Yeah.
So, but hopefully no mistakes. We
Yeah.
don't want that. So,
Yeah. Mistakes aren't always fun.
yes.
But so if you were talking to somebody who is on the fence, tired of how they're being treated, how they're being paid, how they're being disrespected in whatever way that means, what advice would you give?
So my first thing would be is I just like to kind of figure out like what is your skill,
Okay.
and are you 100% confident in your skill to do it for others on your own,
Hmm.
not just at the company. Are you confident in yourself? Um, that was kind of the start point because I knew in my own self that I was a glass guy. I love it. I'm good at it.
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing. I just put a lot of heart into it. So,
Mhm.
but I would say that if you do feel confident in yourself, it's to go for it because you only live once. If
Hmm.
you stay where you're at, you're not going to have a lot of time to put into yourself to grow your own business.
Right.
Um, and bills are going to pile up. They may call you, say, "Hey, where's your money?"
Hmm.
You may miss a couple payments, but that's life, and everybody does it. Everybody misses payments. It's it is what it is, you know, because the only thing that matters again is what we're coming back to is you.
Yeah.
So take care of yourself. And I was late on quite a few payments, but recently I was able to pay my supplier for glass.
Hmm.
I was able to pay my household bills. I was able to give my partner money. I
Hmm.
was able to still have money in my business account.
Yeah.
And when I think back and I'm like, okay, well, this is definitely better than my $1,000 paycheck a week. I've
Right.
got all this going. I've got, I can build. So, but
Right.
it takes time to get there.
Yeah.
Because I remember the first few weeks, I mean, a couple $100 here, a couple $100 there, so on. So,
Hmm.
but as you grow, you get more comfortable with it. Um, Kind of get a little bit more comfortable with the unknown because I mean, there's some days still my phone may not ring, and then there's days where my phone's ringing nonstop.
Yeah.
So it's just a different experience, but totally worth it. So I
Yeah.
say go for it. And if it somehow doesn't work out, there's always other options. There's always, employment, things
Right.
like that. But I think that if you're already at that stage, you're probably going to be successful.
Yeah.
Um,
So are you you we're talking about getting employees. Is it just you still, or do you have other people working for you?
so it is just me still. I am working, basically I'm working with my father-in-law
Okay.
and we are, because I'm very, very, very heavily in the growth stage now. I've
Hmm.
got capital to kind of start moving things around,
Okay.
get into a building, and then that's where we're looking at bringing people on.
Hmm.
But we want to be able to still give benefits. That's the tricky part.
Right.
So we're in process of all that. Also with the general contractors licensing, that'll kind of open up a lot more opportunity.
Hmm.
So
What's required to get the general contractor's license?
so because we live in like basically we're right on the border of Illinois and Iowa.
Hmm.
So we have to go through the state of Illinois, state of Iowa, and then by each different city.
Okay.
So there's a lot to set up, and
Yeah.
it is quite expensive. So because with the licensing, there's also bonding
Hmm.
and things like that. So we're just kind of starting on the Iowa side first,
Okay.
because me being the sole owner of the business, um, it's harder for an out-of-state person to get that done. So
Okay.
this takes a little time. I'll probably
Yeah.
have to take the testing and everything like that. So,
Sounds like fun.
oh yeah.
And I
So,
think I had one more question, but it has escaped me. So I'm gonna stall just for a second.
absolutely.
Um, I think the last thing that I can think of is what's been the most rewarding thing so far of going out on your own?
Um, I would say how my family reacts, my partner, my son, everything like that, because she gets to witness me working on the phone with customers. She gets to see everything I'm doing,
Right.
and there's times we get to sit down and she's like, this is incredible. You're doing it.
Right.
Um, and basically that's kind of my whole purpose behind it is to build for the family.
Hmm.
Because no one else in my family has. Um, I'm looking for the future to give something to my son. Um,
Right.
just kind of show them like, hey, life is not so streamlined. You can do what you want.
Right.
So
That's true.
that's that's my That's my main purpose right there is them.
I love
So,
it.
but
That's That's so important. Um, you can live somebody else's dream, which is what a lot of us do. But it's absolutely possible to live your own dream, create something
I
for
agree.
yourself and for your family.
I would say if anyone like me is kind of interested in getting into a service business where you may need a truck, a van, um, don't get like a brand new expensive high dollar thing.
Right.
My service vehicle, I mean, it's a 96 Grand Cherokee
Okay.
and it's paid for. And my
Nice.
trailer is paid for. So, and I'm gonna continue to run that until I can't anymore.
Right.
So, don't worry about being flashy. Don't worry about any of that because what matters is the work, customer service,
Yeah.
everything like that. Getting into the money traps is not good.
Yeah.
So that's another huge
Unless you're the
thing.
one
So
selling the money traps, then
yes, yes, yes. So,
very good. Well, this has
but
been a lot of fun. If
absolutely.
anybody's in the Quad Cities area wants to hire you, what's the best way for them to connect with you?
So we're on Facebook, Radiant Glass and Repair. We're on Google, Radiant Glass and Repair. Uh, that phone number is 309-909-7999. You can call or text.
Okay.
You can message me on Facebook, uh, everything like that. So,
Love it.
Radiant Glass QC is our website,
Okay.
everything like that. So you can check everything out.
Cool. And I'll put that in the show notes as well.
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you so much for responding on TikTok, but also just being an example of what's possible. It's one of the things that I've believed, just based on my own experience, but also some of the people that I've known, that you can have a different experience. You can have a life on your terms. You don't have to live a life on the boss's terms or on the company's terms. And I love having conversations with people like you because you're an example of that. It's absolutely possible. So thanks for taking the time to share.
Yeah, no, it's like we talked about. Just quit.
Yeah,
Quit.
exactly.
It'll
Exactly.
work itself out. So,
It's just a decision.
so
So, all right.
absolutely.
Thanks a lot, Brandon. This has been fun. And to everybody else, we'll talk to you next week.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Get back to the work you love, where you face less stress, gain more happiness, and live into your purpose. Let me help you become unstuck and unstoppable so you can finally have the life you want. Head over to my website to connect with me at kenwilliamscoaching.com.